Hey everyone, welcome to the first episode of What I Played, a new series on this channel that's going to be appearing every Friday. Basically, it's going to be a rundown of the games I played in the past week, and my opinions on them. This isn't a first impressions, and they won't always be new games, but hopefully they'll be interesting games, and maybe some you've never tried before. My tastes and my opinions are of course my own. You're free to disagree or disagree with anyone else in the comments section, but try to keep the disagreement on the opinion and not the person. Okay? Great. First up this week, Tribes Ascend. The first Tribes game was created by Dynamics and Sierra and came out in 1998. It was pirated to hell and back because there was no DRM on this disc, which is both good and bad. Bad in that it didn't make as much money as it should have, but good in that sharing through friends it became a cult classic. Would it have done so without being pirated? Who knows. I bought the game after trying out the demo and playing another game called Star Siege, which we'll get to at a later date because that's a whole other game with a lot of baggage and all that other junk. But the games take place in the same universe. What defined Tribes was that it had open maps, basically infinity maps, and insane speed, along with jetpacks because jetpacks are awesome. Any arm would cross the map in seconds, but what's great about the speed and skiing is that originally it was a bug in the physics engine. What probably defines the game the most was a code error. And because of that error, no other game moved as fast as Tribes. As you can probably tell, I've been a huge Tribes fan since the games came out. And so when Ascend was announced, I was a little unsure of the game because we all remember Tribes Vengeance. A great single player game that played very little like Tribes. The maps were too small, the weapons felt like junk. There was great ideas in it, but it just wasn't executed very well. Surprisingly, Ascend, created by Hi-Rez Studios and released in April 2012, is not a bad version of Tribes. It isn't as good as the first or even the second, but it's enjoyable, and you can't ask for much more than that. And as a Tribes fan, we're lucky to get what we get. I've been playing it on and off since it came out, and it was great at first. A lot of fun with a lot of speed and mid-air shots. Then, Hi-Rez started to introduce their weapons. And, my friends, they fucked it up. They fucked it up so hard. Weapons were released vastly overpowered, and it took them months to fix them. On top of that, they kept bringing out new bullet-type weapons, which just ruined the game. Yes, the original game had chain gun, and the people hated it. It was called a CG horror if you used it. It was a pain-in-the-ass weapon. But the first game was also played by people with 200 and 300 pings. Hell, I played it on AOL with 350 ping. Low ping was rare back then. Now, low ping is the norm, and if you can even aim somewhat well, you will tear people apart. It's dumb. The weapon stuff has ruined the game for many, and now Hi-Rez has dropped the game a little more than a year out, and then they're done. No more updates. The only thing they promise, which God knows it will come out or not, is a level editor at some point. This is a free-to-play game with no updates. It's really hard to justify purchasing anything now. I still find myself playing it from time to time though. It's still satisfying to get that clutch MA on the flag carrier, or to shoot up in the heavy and just bomb the hell out of the enemy base. It's just not as fun as it could or should be. If you haven't tried any of the Tribes games previously, give this one a shot. It's free, the weapons aren't, but you get a good selection just starting off. Just be aware that the people who are left in the game are very, very good, and you will be pissed off and frustrated at least once while playing. Don't buy any of the weapons though. There's a Game of the Year edition already released on Steam. Just wait for that to go on sale and buy it then. Next up is EuroTruck Simulator. Yes, a truck driving game. And I already can hear you guys asking, Xonze, what the hell is wrong with you? How could driving a truck be any fun? And the answer to that is, I don't know. It just is. Created by SCS Software and released in the beginning of 2013, the game is a run through European roads that may or may not be real. The basic gameplay is, you guessed it, you're driving a truck. But there's also something else here. A business sim. After you gain enough money, you can buy your own truck and start choosing the loads you haul. From there, you can buy garages and start hiring other drivers to make money for you. And you're going to need to do that because the bank that you take a loan out for, if you did that, is $2,000 a day or more. So yeah, you're going to have to make sure you make enough money to cover all that. But it's relaxing, as long as the AI decides not to be a dick, which it does enjoy doing from time to time. Every once in a while, you'll find yourself stopped at a light or at a sign, and there'll be an endless convoy of cars. that just don't stop. It takes forever to get out sometimes. And at that point, you just sometimes have to make the decision that you're gonna run every car off the road. Done it quite a few times. Other times, you'd be driving along, having a great time, and some asshole AI driver decides, I'm gonna pass this truck that's moving a little too slow for me, and it comes into your lane, and there's nothing you can do about it. You hit the car, there's no insurance, you are on the hook for $20,000, or pounds, or euros. I don't even know, I don't remember what they use. But there is so much here. So much to see and drive through, and it's challenging. Even if the game isn't an exact simulation, I have to say I found a newfound respect for truck drivers. Turning, something so simple in a car, is an exercise in spatial awareness, with one mistake knocking a percentage off your earnings because you just did damage to your trailer. One of my favorite things to do in this game is turn on Pandora, get a load, and just drive across all the countries. Just listen to my music, chilling out, and hopefully no AI driver pisses me off. There is even a neat feature of streaming radio built into the game. The streams are all local to the game setting. So there was a time during the whole royal baby craze that's all the radio was about. And it was pretty cool driving through the country listening to that. They do have a demo out, so if you're curious to give it a try, go download it. It's on Steam. You may even find yourself getting lost in the winding roads and wanting to run every car off the damn road. Both are very fun. Finally, the old gem of the week, G-nome. Developed by 7th Level and released in 1997, this was one of the greatest mech games I've ever played, but sadly not many other people have. Though take that statement with a grain of salt because I'm pretty sure nostalgia is playing a key role here. The story was not great, I don't even remember it. The combat was wonky, but goddamn was the game fun. There were so many hours I spent connecting to friends by modem and playing deathmatch. The graphics, at the time, were pretty great, but they weren't the highlight of the game. In this game, you get out of your damn mech, and then go into another one. Your mech is about to be destroyed, no worries. Eject, get your grenade launcher, and pop that other guy that's been attacking you out of his mech, steal it, and then stomp on him if you're fast enough. But think about it. This is 1997. No other mech game that I can think of did this. It was a crazy addition that should have set it apart from all other mech games. Hell, few mech games even nowadays do this. The closest thing we have is Titanfall. 16 years later. The game, like a lot of mech games during this time, had so many vehicles to choose from hover tanks to a multitude of mechs called Hawks in this game because every damn robot game needs its own acronym, and the designs were interesting and fun to drive. The maps were expansive and varied, and the game was freaking hard at times because it didn't allow you to save during a mission. Some of these missions had you doing 4 or 5 objectives before being complete. The frustration was overwhelming at times. The game apparently flopped hard. Computer Gaming World magazine called it Coaster of the Year. I don't see it. It's not there. The game did everything other mech games were doing, and in some ways did it better. It doesn't make sense. If you can scramble up a copy, it's worth taking a stomp around. Just remember, the graphics aren't pretty anymore. The gameplay hasn't aged well, but it's still nice to go back and visit where we were so that we can appreciate how far we've come in only a few years. It's crazy when you think about it. Alright, that's it for this week. Come back next week for another What I Played, and stop by the rest of the week to see my Let's Plays. And if you have suggestions or anything else, leave it in the comments section. See ya.